International. Co-chair of the Citizens Movement Against Corruption, Edem Senano, argues the relations in the ongoing investigations makes it imperative for the Public Officers Code of Conduct Bill to be passed. And now to one of our topical stories. The Ghana Education Service will this morning begin the provision of psychological support for final year students of the Adisadel College following an incident of abuse in one of their dormitories. This is part of 3 action measures decided on by the service when they met the Education Minister. Cassandra Chum Ampofo, Public Relations Officer of the service, explains the other actions.
The NNS demanded that we report by Thursday, 27th of May 2023. And so in the meeting we were to facilitate a further medical examination on the injured students. And the Adisadel team, the Central Region Director, they are the reach of this evening. And so we can have further medical examination on the injured students. And so the ministry has also mandated us to begin a psychosocial support. So, they are third-year students and they will be starting the WASI next week. And so we need to prepare them, give them that psychosocial support. And so we are starting that tomorrow, and we know that the police have also taken over, and so we have to also collaborate with them well and ensure that we get to the legal conclusion of the matter.
She asked the service to submit its report to the Education Minister by tomorrow, July 27.
Anything that happens in the school, we also have our administrative rules. So, in as much as the police, the agencies are taking over, they can continue with whatever they are doing. And what we also mentioned or said in the meeting is that whatever interrogation or meet, because these are young ones, definitely they'll be accompanied by the lawyer, the Central Regional Lawyer, Education, and then we've also asked that a teacher or an adult should accompany them to the police station. But it doesn't mean that we are leaving everything in the hands of the police. Administratively, we are also doing our part, or will continue to do our part, and then report to the ministry by Thursday, as we have asked us to do.
Cassandra Chumampa for SPRO of the Ghana Education Service. Meanwhile, the suspect in the case is expected in court by Friday, July 28, following a directive by the Attorney General. Godfrey Dami has also directed police in the Central Region to investigate the assault case and furnish its office with their findings. But some education stakeholders have cited the lack of proper discipline in schools as the problem. Currently, the Ghana Education Service is almost concluding a reviewed draft document that will help spell out punishments to students. The National Association of Graduate Teachers, the Ghana National Association of Teachers, and the Coalition of Concerned Teachers are asking the Ghana Education Service to act swiftly.
We have now what we have in our schools because there seems to be a vacuum when it comes to ensuring that students are disciplined. Okay? As we speak, because you cannot repeat students, I'm calling for empowering school management and authorities to put in place disciplinary measures to deter some of these errant behaviors.
And for me, GES should see what they can do for that particular boy. I think that where we are now, we've all contributed to it. Because whenever teachers take action against students, they always receive condemnation. That is why we are here. And I think last week, the GES came out with a draft. We have made some contributions into it. And we are hoping that sooner or later, the code for students will soon be published.
We will urge parents to also talk to their walls, that you go to school to go and learn. You don't go to school to go and beat somebody's what.
Well, you just heard the take of some teacher unions on the subject matter. Meanwhile, children's rights advocacy group Child Rights International has condemned the abuse of the student and called for investigations into the matter. A press statement signed by its executive director, Bright Appiah, also described the sanctions against the victim as inappropriate and called for him to be immediately reinstated. Well, if you just tuned in, you're listening to the news at Section 3 FM 92.7. We're also live on all our affiliate stations across the country. In more news this morning, Amnesty International has hailed Parliament and the country for the passage of a law to abolish the death penalty. Parliament has passed the Criminal Offences Amendment Bill 2022, awaiting the President's assent to abolish the death penalty. With the amendment, the death penalty is off the Criminal Offences Code and rather gives the power to the President to commit a life imprisonment. Despite being the statute, no president has ever signed the death penalty in the Fourth Republic. An enthused Deputy Majority Leader Alexander Ponyomakin says the country must celebrate this feat. First, let's hear how the Speaker of Parliament, Abang Bagwin, announced this.
The question is that the Criminal Offences Amendment Bill 2022 is now read the second time. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Honourable members, the Criminal Offences Amendment Bill 2022 is duly read the third time and passed. The Criminal Offences Amendment Bill 2022 is read the third time and passed.
And that was the Speaker of Parliament, and now the Deputy Majority Leader, Alexander Ponyomakin.
The death penalty is no more a punishment in our statutes. That is not to say that those who take it upon themselves to take the lives of others are being encouraged to do so. But what we are saying is that God gives us life, and under no circumstance should a person's life be taken merely because of commission of such an offense. So I think that is a day to celebrate, because internationally all human rights institutions have taken this position that the death penalty provision in our laws or in various laws as a form of punishment is moot. Our parliament has done its bit. It's now left for the executive to assent to the bill.
That was Deputy Majority Leader Alexander Ponyomakin. And now Country Director of Amnesty International, Genevieve Patterson, says President Akufo-Addo should not delay in assenting the bill into law.
It's something that he can do. So we are really praying that he will, work swiftly to get this done. Currently, those on death row, for example, have no access to recreational facilities. They are completely isolated. So I think this is a step in the right direction. Again, our prison system is not just for punitive measures. It's also for rehabilitation and reformation. So I'm praying that, we continue improving the prison's conditions. We are looking at decongestion. We're also looking at non-custodial sentencing. And we're also looking at those on remand.
And before we part company, the campaign to address violent extremism in West Africa is taking shape as the Danish government and the United Nations Development Programme introduced the Atlantic Corridor Initiative. The project targets highly volatile communities in Ghana, Togo, Benin and Ivory Coast. In 2022, tourism-related deaths in the Sahel region alone was more than what was recorded in South Asia, Middle East and North Africa combined. The Danish government, in collaboration with the United Nations Development Programme, has launched the Atlantic Corridor Initiative, an 18-month, 20 million city project aimed at intensifying the campaign against terrorism in Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, Benin Republic, and Togo. Well, on that note, we end the morning news before we go look again at our top stories. Anti-graft campaigners call for a review of the asset declaration regime to include declaration of assets by family, friends and close relations of public office holders. Children's rights advocacy group Child Rights International calls for immediate reinstatement of the victim in the Addisadel College abuse, describing his suspension as inappropriate. Now, the Ghana Education Service will this morning provide psychological support for final year students of this Addisadel College, as it also races to meet a 48-hour deadline by its sector minister to present a report in the assault case. In a related development, 3 pre-tertiary education unions want the GES to immediately publish the new code of conduct for students. And Amnesty International urges President Akufo-Addo to sign the Criminal Offences Code as Parliament abolishes the death penalty. My name is George Kwaning. For more news updates, just log on to our website, it's 3news.com. In a world where you can be anything, just be kind. It costs nothing to be kind. Hello, Dan Professor here. Good morning.
George, I would like to speak to you.
No problem.
How are we doing? Good morning.
I'm fine. I'm doing fine.
Are you very sure?
I'm fine.